This Epic Disaster.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Is that just my name now, This Epic Disaster?
No, I was saying hello to the people listening.
Oh.
I don't say hello to you because you're right there.
Well, hi.
I don't need to say hello to you because you're sitting right across from me.
Okay. Hi, folks.
That's how it works.
Okay. I'm still learning. It's only been 4 years.
Yeah, it has been 4 years. 4 freaking years, actually. 4.5 years, really.
Yeah.
We've been doing this podcast for 4.5 years. I think we probably have less listeners, which means we suck.
Well, we knew
suck
that.
at doing a podcast.
We knew that.
But we do like the listeners who are out there listening.
Of course.
And some of them have been with us all along. And we thank you.
This whole time. This whole 4.5 years.
That's
and
right.
even prior.
One thing we've done almost every episode is beer. We do our live beer review. And the podcast isn't live, but live beer review means that we drink it while we're doing the podcast.
And then we'll tell you what we think of it at the end. And today, let me tell you, it's Nitro.
Oh, yeah.
We are drinking, this is by Left Hand Brewing out of Colorado.
Oh, crap. I opened with my right.
Uh-oh. It's Key Lime Pie Nitro.
Look at that. Look at that. Wow.
It is a sour ale with lactose, lime, vanilla, and cinnamon.
All right. So I'm pouring it. You know what this reminds me of?
What?
Creamsicle. That's, at least right now, it looks like it's going to kind of clear up a little bit. But look at that color. It looks like a creamsicle, doesn't it? Remember that?
It does. Yes, the orange-flavored creamsicles.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be lime.
So it's sour lime. It's going to be like a limesicle.
A limesicle, yes.
I guess.
But it does have vanilla and cinnamon, I guess, to kind of emulate the crust.
It's one of those things that sounds like it's going to be so delicious, but then I've been so disappointed on those. So I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Prepare for
I
disappointment.
really don't even need to know what to think.
Just
all I have to do is drink it.
Drink it.
I'm gonna
See what you
drink
think.
it. It's got a nice little frothy head
Frothy,
there.
milky
Kind of,
looking
yeah.
head. It looks like
Okay.
milk. Oh, he says.
Did you taste it?
Not yet.
Interesting. That's not what I expected. Yeah. That lactose is kind of helps it out, doesn't it?
Quite a bit, yeah.
That's kind of nice.
That is nice. Good thing I got 4 of them. I can take 2 home.
Yeah, it has a very creamy taste, even though it doesn't look creamy. Now the head is very creamy. I mean, it's not like
It's not frothy.
That's right. It's creamy. It's not like what you would have like a root beer float. But yeah, but it's the color. It's clear like the color of a beer, but it tastes like it would be not. Tastes like,
I think that's got to be the added lactose, because I don't think you can see lactose.
Woo. Okay.
But it's definitely a sour.
Yeah.
And you get that lime flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, so good. We'll let you know what we think at the end.
Very cool. How's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm all right.
It's been a busy week for me, honestly.
Busy?
Busy.
Yeah. I guess a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing, I'm going to talk about a little bit of this later, but I'm trying to put like all of my art. I'm putting them online so people can order prints.
Okay. Prints like prints in the Purple Revolution?
No, like art prints, and dang, they're cheap too.
Oh, okay.
So people can go online if they want a piece of art, and they can just buy it, and it'll be in my shop.
Where do you think we can go if we want to buy a piece of prints?
Well, when right now I don't have them all up, and the store is kind of like half-assed.
Oh, okay.
Which is how I do everything.
Half-assed.
But it's kind of like it's not. The store's got a lot of work, but you can access it. Rick Baldwin Studio Shop, I believe, is the URL.
Okay.
.com. And you could go. You can either order T-shirts or you can order prints. And so the prints, I've never really done art prints. I'm not a huge fan.
You're more
I
of
like
an
originals,
yeah.
But people ask for them all the time, and I understand because people like I might have a piece that's $800.
Yeah.
And people have paid big bucks for my work before, which is nice, and I thank them. But some people, $800 is a big risk and a big
purchase.
Commitment.
Yeah.
And you can buy a print for $20.
Wow.
So $800 or $20. And some people will be like, okay, I'll go with the 20. I think you could do it less than that. I think they have them for 12 too. So you could get a smaller prints for 12, and then like the biggest are like 20. So that's not bad.
The largest prints are 20?
Yeah, you could get one.
That's cheap AF.
I know, you should get them.
I'm gonna.
Go order.
Well,
But,
my walls are already covered in your art.
yeah, I have. I only have a few of them up now. I'm doing more. So at some point, because I have to take pictures of all of them, like professionally shoot them with a setup with my lights, and no one wants to hear about this. But
No,
anyway,
they don't. They don't care. They know what goes into
that's
it.
what my week has been. All week I've been doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been super productive at work myself.
Well,
Yeah.
are you shooting pictures of your art?
No,
Oh,
I'm doing my job.
Sorry.
But I've actually been quite prolific at doing my job
Oh,
this
that's
week.
good.
Yeah, and I feel pretty good about it, and I like to keep it up. There's some momentum going, so I'm gonna try and keep that momentum going.
Oh, that's good. Are you gonna get a raise?
No,
Oh.
Would you rather shoot art prints or get a raise?
Get a raise.
Okay,
I'd like to get a raise for shooting art prints.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
We're gonna play a game of Would You Rather.
Let's play a game. Would you rather?
We're gonna drop a stone, whatever color stone I drop.
Oh, guess what? I want to say this before we do this. I got to say this.
What?
So I was listening to the podcast last week.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to remind you this. You might remember, you might not. I was trying to think of a band. Remember
Nope.
that? And I couldn't remember the song that they sang that I was obsessed with for a while. And I couldn't remember the band's name. I remembered the girl that was in the band. Her name was Dev, but it was like I remember I was like Far East something. I couldn't remember. It was, and then this week I thought about that, and immediately the name of the band popped in my head, Far East Movement, and the song was Like a G6.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah.
And for some reason, isn't that weird how just like there's a block and you can't remember something for the life of you can't remember it. And then just a little while later, you remember, and that block is completely gone. You can remember every single thing.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
That's weird.
And
It's like opens a door.
Yeah, it's like, so I have to be embarrassed on the podcast because my mind
Is old.
I think my mind wants to embarrass me. I think that's what it's trying to do.
I think your mind doesn't do anything you don't want it to do.
I don't believe that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to drop a colored stone. That colored stone will determine what category my question is in, and then I will answer a question.
All right, green.
My stone is green.
Ethics and intellects. Would you rather be a priest who gets caught in an unsavory sexual act?
Unsavory?
I don't know what that unsavory would be, like blowing a bull, because that would be like really unsavory.
I would think so.
Yeah. Or did I just say blowing a bull on our podcast?
Yes, you did.
Dang it. Or a prostitute that no one wants to hire. Well, let me just say, if you are a prostitute and no one wants to hire you, you're not a prostitute.
That's right, because you're not actively working.
Okay.
Now, so this is how my brain works. The first thing that popped in my brain when you said unsavory, I was thinking, oh, okay, so like a donut.
Well, that's why I said blowing a bullet. That's not very savory. So, yeah.
But it's not sweet either.
I don't know. I've not done it.
I can't imagine it would be sweet.
It tastes like beef. I don't know.
Oh.
I really don't know. But so you're either a priest that gets caught in a sexual act. I don't know what is an unsavory sexual act.
Probably something.
Can we just drop that adjective and just say sexual act?
Well, some priests can be in sexual acts with their wives.
Yeah, but you're caught. What is an unsavory one?
I think they're talking about little boys.
Oh, no one wants to be caught in that.
No.
That's not cool at all.
No one wants to do that. Well, we don't.
No.
So I'm gonna go with the prostitute.
A prostitute no one wants to hire?
Yep.
You could be that now.
I am that now.
You're basically that.
I'm basically that.
Prostitute no one wants to hire.
Ding 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 ding.
I feel like, though, that the priest who gets caught, you're having sex at least. So there's something to be said for that.
Okay, but stop this conversation.
I'm just saying.
Just stop the conversation.
That's a win right there.
I don't think it's always a win.
It depends on, what you said. It doesn't say that. That's your mind.
It's not my mind.
It is.
That's what unsavory means.
It does not mean that. Unsavory means doesn't taste good.
No, that's not what it means.
It does. That's what unsavory
No.
means.
Just drop a stone.
Unsavory
Drop a stone, please.
does not taste good.
Just drop a stone.
All right, here we go. Shaking it up. Shake it up.
Yours is blue.
Blue.
Blue is appearance and embarrassment.
Oh.
That's common for you. Mm-hmm. As a woman,
I'm not.
would you rather
Okay.
wear high heels on a camping trip or have to wear Birkenstocks to the Oscars?
That one.
Duh.
You get to go to the Oscar.
And you get to be comfortable.
Yeah. Will Smith will slap you.
That's not a difficult question.
That's a weird question.
Who wants to wear high heels on a camping trip?
I don't know.
You're going to break an ankle.
I guess. That's just...
People are going to have to carry you out in a sling.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
Question for you.
Sure.
Let me ask you a question.
That-
Can I ask you a question?
There's your question.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, God.
You remember...
Yes, I remember Ace Ventura.
I saw something today that...
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. And, yeah, every once in a while you need to see that. It's so stupid.
It'll make your day better.
It's funny.
It will totally make your day better.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
All right.
How often do you associate yourself with your body?
Example.
Just like, let's say something happens to your body. Mm-hmm. A dysfunction or anything that happens.
Like my head is itching right now.
Or you get a headache. Let's just say headache.
Okay.
You have a headache. How often do you, when you have a headache, do you think, I have a headache? I am my body, and it is hurting, and that therefore I am hurting.
Pretty much all the time.
Okay.
I don't say, I do say my head hurts because it is my head. I own it. Right. But I also use the phrase, I have a headache.
Yeah. You have one.
I have one.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing a headache.
Right.
Isn't that true?
It's very, very true. But if you analyze that sentence, it's very important on what it points to.
Okay. So my physical body is experiencing a headache.
No, you're saying I am experiencing
a headache.
A headache.
Right.
So I is the subject.
Right.
Headache is the object.
Right.
How can they be the same thing? So they're not. You have one, and then you have the other.
Okay.
And then one is experiencing something.
Right.
So how you are experiencing
a headache.
Therefore, you are the experiencer.
Correct.
Okay, that's what that means. But I'm just curious about, because I do it, and I think it's something that's kind of we're trained to do when we're young, and we just do it automatically as we get older.
So what's the difference between I have a headache or even I am experiencing a headache and my head hurts?
What's the difference in experiencing a car alarm going off?
I can hear a car alarm.
Right?
My car alarm is going off. I don't think I'm part of the car.
But what are you?
I'm the one experiencing it.
Okay. So you're still experiencing the headache.
Right.
Just like you're experiencing the car alarm. But you're not the headache.
Or
just
the car
like
alarm.
You're not the car alarm.
Right.
So you're not the body. You're not the body. You're not what the body is doing.
But it belongs to me.
Well, who says it belongs to you?
The person who gave it to me when I was born.
No one gave you anything.
Yes,
Your
they
parents
did.
had sex. And you ended up with a body. And at any point, someone could walk in with a gun and shoot you, and you're dead. You didn't start that. You didn't own it. You didn't ask for it. You didn't control it. We operate under the assumption that this body is ours and that we somehow own it and do something with it, and that it's us, and it's none of those things.
So you don't believe in bodily autonomy?
I'm not saying that. Under society that we have built, you have to kind of have that as a rule in order just to get along in the society. But if you analyze it and what the truth is, you're not that body. What are you of the body? You cut your hair, you cut your nails, you leave them behind. You shed skin all the time. You have a new body every 7 years. None of that is you. It's just you experience that. You experience the pleasure just like you experience the pain. You can experience a headache, you can experience an orgasm. Neither are you.
Right.
But what are you then? You're the experiencer.
Right.
You're that which is experiencing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's the truth, but we do get it confused, and I do it. Like if I have a pain, my knee hurts or something, it's so easy to identify with that pain as that's me. I'm hurting. I have a headache.
It's funny that you brought that up because I watched an old episode of Criminal Minds a couple days ago. And if you don't know Criminal Minds, if you're into like scary criminal shows like that have been going on for 20 years, it's a good one. So Shamar Moore plays one of the agents, FBI agent, right?
Hot dude.
Very hot. Oh my God. That's one of the reasons I watch. I'll be honest.
Used to be Matthew
Gray Goobler.
Yeah, you used to like him, right?
I still like him.
Okay.
The whole thing is full of eye candy.
Yeah.
The whole show. It's all eye candy.
He's more brain candy though, right? He's a
little bit of both.
He's kind of, yeah.
But he started out as brain candy, and then they made him a little hotter and hotter and hotter.
Okay,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, or maybe he just became hot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, he gets, with no spoilers, Shamar Moore gets kidnapped, and this is like in the first 10 minutes of the show, so I didn't ruin anything for you. He gets kidnapped by some really bad people that want to hurt him.
Good people rarely kidnap, but anyway, go ahead.
Also true.
Yeah.
We could get into that if you wanted to.
No, I don't want
somebody kidnapping their child away from an abusive. Anyways, no, he's kidnapped by some really bad people, and he's taken to a cabin in the woods, far away from society, or farther away from society. You hear that car outside?
No.
No? You didn't hear that?
No.
It was rather loud. Okay. So they put him up on a rack, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're about to like torture him for information.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he's just sitting there. And then the guy's like, wake him up, bad guy. He's like, wake him up so I can hurt him, or whatever he says. I don't know what he says. And the dude's like, he is awake. And they've got him hooked up on these monitors so they can monitor his heart rate and stuff, because they really want to make sure they don't hurt him too bad to where he gets killed, but they want to hurt him enough to where he speaks or talks about whatever it is. And so they put him up on this rack, and they're like, wake him up. And they're like, he is awake. Well, what is he doing? They're like, he's dissociating himself from his body.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't have to experience the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And he manages to do a really good job of it. I won't go into any more detail because then I will spoil it. But yeah, he's been trained as an FBI agent to dissociate his brain from his body, or himself from his body, so that he doesn't have to experience the torture or the pain. And that's what he was doing.
Don't you kind of have to do that when you're getting a tattoo?
Yes, a little bit.
Oh.
A little bit. I mean, it depends on who you are. Some people want to feel it. They want to feel the pain because
it's like people who cut themselves. That's why they do it.
They do it so that they can feel something.
Yeah.
Because they are so disassociated from their bodies that they don't feel anything. So in reality, what people that cut themselves, for the most part, they're dissociated from their feelings.
Sure.
Maybe not physical,
right?
But they do that to feel something. So some people who get tattoos, they have learned how to dissociate the part of the body being mauled with needles from their thoughts. They meditate in a way to disassociate themselves from the pain. But some people want to feel it so that it means more, if that makes sense.
I mean, I understand it. on a real level, it doesn't make sense. But
Right.
I understand that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So so that's interesting that you should bring that up, because I've always thought that was interesting how you can train somebody to do that. I mean, it's just essentially just a form of meditation.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, really. It's a really extreme form of meditation, I would
What do
think.
you consider meditation?
Well, I consider meditation like the way that I've meditated in the past. And I know there are multiple different types of meditation. You can be wide awake and meditate while in an elevator, from floor to floor. You can have a quick little meditation at your desk. You can lay and meditate for 3 or 4 hours at a time. You can chant. You can do whatever you want. For me, meditation in that sense is more like a trance-like state.
Yeah.
Just a trance-like state
Okay.
where it's you get out of your body. You disassociate yourself from the living being.
Okay.
I mean, you can't do it too often, because then you'd just be wandering around unaware of everything around you.
Okay.
But I also think that meditation is the key to awareness. So, yeah.
Okay.
What do you think meditation is?
I think that's nothing against you, but I think that's a flawed definition of meditation. But that's what I think most people think it is.
Okay.
I think most people think meditation is going into a altered state of consciousness, or a hypnosis, or a trance, or something like that. And it's kind of the opposite. Meditation is actually becoming hyper aware of reality. And it's really, meditation is really a return to your true being.
Okay.
So, and you don't have to do that by going into it. In fact, you can't do it by going into a trance. You have to do it by becoming very aware of truth and what's happening. And so it isn't about an altered, I mean, I guess there are altered states of consciousness people put themselves into. I tend to think that, that might just be self-hypnosis, which isn't meditation. So, yeah.
But don't you think that can be beneficial for some people?
But they're not the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, like yoga and exercise. I mean, yoga is sort of a form of exercise, but yoga is a very different thing from what Americans or Western people have made yoga into being. But a lot of people think of yoga as a certain thing, and it's kind of not that.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean what they do is useless. It's just they've developed something into a totally different thing that they're doing. And it isn't really yoga, but it's what they do,
Okay. So did I answer your question?
What was my question? I was just...
How hyper aware are you right now?
No, I'm curious. I find it interesting how often we kind of get tangled up into the idea that we are our body and we are our minds, and we're not either of those. But we identify that, and so we essentially become this illusion.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If we are, what you're essentially saying is that we are our consciousness.
Yeah. Well, we are consciousness.
We are consciousness.
Yes.
Okay. And we have given ourselves an ego.
Or just developed over the years.
Right.
Yeah.
We've developed an ego.
Yeah.
So let's say I shoot you dead right now. You're dead. Boom. What happens to your consciousness?
Who knows? No. Why would anyone know that?
What do you believe happens to your consciousness?
I don't like to believe.
Okay.
So I'm not a believer. But I was actually thinking about this today. If you sit and you just kind of meditate on consciousness, you cannot find a beginning or an end of consciousness.
Right.
And do you remember on the show, this has been quite a while, when I talked about how I had this thing where it's just like, would you go see a movie?
Yes, I remember.
Remember, it was just like, would you go see, like, what if someone made the most ultimate it was the greatest movie ever made. And would you go see that movie if when you left, you had your brain erased or you had the memory of that movie erased?
Everything about the movie gone.
You didn't get it anymore.
Right.
Would you do it?
And I said yes.
And I was like, why? Because you wouldn't have that experience anymore. It's like a waste of time. Why do it if it's going to be erased? It's equal to not doing it. So to me, that in my own way sort of is a way kind of that I prove that consciousness cannot be ended. Because you think about it, you're conscious now. Can you be conscious of an ending? You can't, because in order to be conscious of an ending, you have to be on the other side of it. So you cannot, let's say a sports thing, you can't be conscious of the ending of a sports thing because you have to be on the other side of the end to see that it's over.
Okay. But you know it's going to end.
You don't? What if it goes on forever? You assume that it's going to.
You hope it's
but
going
you can't
to.
experience the end of it. You know, you don't experience the end of it until you're actually on the other side.
Right.
If consciousness ends, you can't experience that because there's no consciousness to experience.
The ending.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
And have you ever experienced, this is a tricky one, but have you ever experienced no consciousness?
Yes.
When?
When I committed suicide.
How would it be no consciousness?
Because I died.
I know, but I'm just saying, what makes you think you weren't conscious?
Because I don't remember anything about it.
But how do you know you don't remember anything about it?
Because I don't remember anything about it.
You don't now.
Right.
Yeah. But do you remember what you did when you were 2?
No.
Well, then how do you know you did anything? Just because you don't remember it doesn't mean nothing happened. But my point is, don't you have to know that nothing happened, or that you're not thinking, or that consciousness wasn't there? Let's bring it into something that's more applicable. Let's say you go to sleep.
Okay.
At night, and you say, "I didn't dream anything last night."
You probably did.
But I'm just saying, you say, I didn't dream anything last night.
I don't remember it.
I don't remember it. But something has to be there to remember that you're not dreaming, or to know, or to be aware that you're not dreaming.
But the likelihood is that you did dream, you just forgot as soon as you woke up.
But that's not my point. I'm saying there has to be consciousness there to know I'm not dreaming, you know? Something has to be aware that you're not dreaming.
Yeah.
Okay, so consciousness is there.
It still exists.
Yeah.
I didn't lose my consciousness for the 8 hours
But that's
I was
my
in bed.
point when you go over to when I talk about suicide. You have to know, something has to know that you weren't thinking anything. Something has to know. How do you know there wasn't a party going on in your head? You say you don't remember it, but it could be. But didn't something have to be there to know that there was just emptiness?
Yeah.
I mean, something had to be aware that nothing was happening.
True. That makes sense.
I mean, you can say, I don't remember it. Maybe something happened I don't remember. We do that with dreams a lot.
That's true, yeah.
It could be.
I mean, I might have, gone to the 7th ring of hell for all I know.
Probably.
And, told him to save my room because I'll be back. But
I mean, I'm really not trying to get too metaphysical, even though we're heading that way. I'm just curious I've been thinking about that a lot the last couple of weeks about how, because I was experiencing some pains that was just like, sometimes you have like, my arm, ow.
Oh, I'm getting that a lot.
And
these
then,
days. Yeah.
and then it's gone.
Yeah.
But other times you'll have a pain that'll, like last year, I had a knee pain that just would not go away for 6 months. And no matter what you're doing, whether you're sleeping, whether you're eating, whether you're trying to work, that pain is constantly there.
Right.
And it's real easy to identify with that to the point where you're just like, this is me hurting.
And you can't concentrate on anything else because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of saying this is my body that I'm experiencing that's in pain.
Do you know what's funny is this happens to me a lot. I unconsciously scratch at my skin a lot and my scalp. Mm-hmm. But so I will just find blood all of a sudden. I'm like, what happened? Why am I bleeding? You know, and it's because I'm scratching my skin.
I've seen you do that.
Yeah, but there was also one time I walked into the gallery and we'd been chatting and walking around for a couple of minutes.
Oh, I remember that.
And then there was blood on my shirt.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm bleeding. Where am I bleeding from? And it took me like a minute and a half to find that my thumb had been sliced open on something.
Oh.
I didn't feel it.
Thought it was like stigmata.
Yeah. No, it was
It
like...
happens in the gallery sometimes.
Sometimes. But yeah, it was just like this weird thing. My thumb just like cut open and I didn't feel it. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't conscious of it, but my body was bleeding. So yeah, that's kind of one of those things where if I didn't see it happen, it didn't happen. Pics or it didn't happen. Speaking of sleep.
Yeah.
I have been experiencing, I know how you are with dream interpretation.
Yeah.
You're pretty good at it.
Sometimes.
I mean, you can be pretty intuitive.
Okay.
And this may not take a whole lot of intuition because all I had to do was give it a little bit of thought. But I want another opinion.
Okay.
I've been having a recurring theme in my dreams.
Yeah.
And this happens to me a lot. It started in childhood. There would be a recurring bad guy.
But
different dreams.
Is this a brand new recurring?
This is brand new.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not a recurring dream.
Right.
It's a recurring theme in my dreams.
And we mentioned recurring themes for you, brown bear.
Brown bears.
Recurring dreams for me, a tornado.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we both have those like major themes that we recognize immediately and we know kind of what they mean.
Yeah.
And we can take steps to adjust our attitude or behavior based on our brains telling us while we're unconscious, you know, hey, pay attention. But this one is new. This one is, I'll just be having a rando dream, right? I will look to my right, and I will notice a crack in the wall.
Oh.
And there is a crack in my wall when I look to the right in my living room. Mm-hmm. And it's been there. It hasn't changed. I've lived there for 6 years now. The crack is just an old crack that's just been there, right? It's fine. It's a little tiny little crack.
You live in a crack house.
I live in a crack house. That just reminded me of Deadpool, sorry. But so I'll turn my head to the right and I'll notice this crack and I'll be like, there's a crack in the wall. Mm-hmm. And then I'll just go about my business.
Yeah.
And then the next time I'm having a dream and I turn my head to the right and I see this crack, it's bigger. Mm-hmm. And it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And it doesn't matter what building I'm in. It's not the same crack. Mm-hmm. But there is a crack in the wall. I could be in your house, I can be in my house, I can be in a house I've never been in before, really, and there's the crack in the wall and it just keeps getting wider and bigger and it's breaking.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
What do you think it is?
I have a few thoughts.
Okay.
Part of me thinks that, you know, that things are starting to come apart.
Yeah.
Clearly, in my life, just in general.
Right.
But I've been it's funny, in the last week and even in the last 2 weeks, I've been taking steps to make things better.
Yeah. That's still, so those kind of things are usually based on just fears. So you might be practically handling things, but then you've got this lingering fear in your head. And that's how that's being manifested is through your dream.
So in my dream, my fears are coming out about things falling apart. Yeah,
and then, of course, it doesn't mean they actually are. It's just it's a pointer. It's just like what am I afraid of right now? What's in my thoughts?
So do you agree with my interpretation?
I think that's probably, and it could be a good thing. It's tempting to look at it as a bad thing, but I feel like that it is. Your thoughts are that your foundation is crumbling. that maybe things aren't as steady and sturdy as
And stable.
as you've been wanting. And I mean, that's not surprising knowing some things that's been going on with you. So I don't feel like that's unusual.
Okay.
And I would think that, that's especially when I think most people the last 2 years, just weirdness has happened.
I agree.
Whether it's been in national politics, whether it's just been in daily life.
Or international politics,
just
for that
things
matter.
that you're used to are different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with you've had some job things happen, and just things are just like, this is not as sturdy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, it isn't crumbled yet,
No.
but I think it's just this feeling that this is something to look out for. Might be a little unsteady.
Do you know what's funny is that every recurring theme that I've had in my dreams, like the first one was that bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
That I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but when I was like 8, he showed up and he was this big, scary guy, and he was scary, and I would wake up crying, I had a bad dream. And then eventually, when I was about 14, it got to the point where I was like turning around and looking at him going, dude,
You suck.
You're here again. You've never hurt me. All you ever do is chase me, And then he started wearing disguises, and then it was just funny. But he was like chasing me away from something.
Mm-hmm.
And from the time I was like 8 until I was like 15, I didn't know what it was. But through some therapy, I figured it out. And then he went away. He's gone. And then the brown bear dreams started in my late 20s. And those were the ghost dreams started in my mid-20s. The brown bear dreams started in my late 20s, and they continued into my mid-30s, and then from there. And those are my brain telling me that my rage is coming out, and I'm a little on edge,
Yeah.
Maybe I should take steps to self heal and self-care and work on that.
I mean, it's not a polar bear. It's not a black bear.
Nope, it's a brown bear.
And you are a brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's funny is this is a little, new agey or whatever, but every single time I've ever done like my medicine cards or spirit animal stuff, it's always a brown bear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what I associate
Well,
with.
too, I would think that just being in Alaska,
Yeah.
it's probably a collective consciousness thing that people are concerned about bears,
Yes.
grizzlies,
Yes.
which are brown. And just, in the back of your mind, you're always just like, you never know when you're going to encounter that or a moose or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like as a whole, as a group, everybody's kind of got that on their mind, just in the back of their mind. That
Well, yeah. I
who
used
knows
to
when
go
you go
out.
camping or whatever, what you're going to run into.
I used to go out in the middle of nowhere. I'd have to carry a 45 with me, one I could barely lift up, just because that's the only thing that I could defend myself against a bear with.
If you needed it.
Yeah. So anyway, I know what the brown bears mean in my dream, but this is new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a new crack.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't think it's anything to worry about. It's something to look at. I think it's something to kind of point at your state of mind.
Yeah, and every single one of these things, like I was saying, every single one of these recurring themes has been something to help me.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily afraid of it.
No.
I just need to figure it out.
But I think that it's a concern. It's an anxiety.
Yes.
And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you need your foundation to crumble. Maybe it's just to show, things aren't as secure as you thought they were.
Yeah.
And that could be fine. Maybe it's, maybe like it's time for a change, but that might not happen for a while, Maybe the house will start falling and then you need to find something new.
And what's funny is that the crack in the wall, I went through a little bit of like, what does this mean? And I have a fear of sinkholes.
Yeah.
And I have, the hill by my house is eroding
Right.
already.
Uh-huh.
So I just have this fear that my house is just going to fall into the earth. And that could be associated with an actual conscious fear that I have.
Okay.
But, we'll see. I'll let you know how it goes. And I'm just going to keep an eye on it and be aware of it and
All right.
see how it goes.
Okay.
That's a good segue, actually. Speaking of fears, if we have time.
Okay.
One of my fears is large bodies of water
Okay, sure.
called thalassophobia.
It's called what?
Thalassophobia.
The last.
THELASS a phobia.
Okay.
So I do this thing sometimes where I will watch videos or look at images of underwater stuff that scares me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it just for fun.
Yeah, it's like watching a horror film.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So I looked up and I found this article today that I kind of want to tell you. There are these just like 15 horrifying facts about large bodies of water
Okay.
that you should know. First one is there's a place called Rupkund or Skeleton Lake
Okay.
where you can see hundreds of human skeletal remains.
No.
The shallow lake is in India. It's famous for having hundreds of human skeletons at the edge, which you can see when the snow melts. According to researchers, the bones are the remains of people killed in a sudden and violent hailstorm in the 9th century.
Oh.
And they're still there.
Hailstorms.
Hailstorms, yeah.
I wouldn't be scared of that. I'd like to see it.
I think it would be cool because that's not underwater.
No.
So that doesn't scare me at all.
No, it's not.
It's just around the water.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine.
They're trying to be scary because of skeletons.
Yeah,
but,
whatever. So here's another one. The disappearance of Rebecca Coriam.
Okay.
She was a cruise ship member on the
Whoa.
cruise ship Disney Wonder.
Like Julie from Left Boat.
Yeah. No, let's not go there. Coriam missed her shift one morning aboard the Disney cruise in 2011
Oh, Goofy did something.
and couldn't be found in her room or anywhere else on the ship. However, investigators did find CCTV footage of her at 5:45 a.m. that same morning having a phone conversation and appearing emotionally distraught.
Uh-oh.
This was the last record of her presence aboard the ship, and her body has never been found.
Wow.
So either something went horribly wrong on that call and she
Yeah.
decided to end it all.
Or somebody was watching her and ended it for her.
Ended
Yes.
it for her. Yeah. Now that also doesn't scare me because while I will never be on a cruise ship, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But it's not underwater, so it doesn't scare me.
I just watched a documentary about a cruise ship. It was about cruise ship life and what they do and how they get it, the cruise ships work. It was very fascinating.
It is fascinating, and I don't know how people could do it.
Yeah.
Just the fear of, I can't go on a cruise ship. That's not going to happen.
It's just like you would never know it unless you went out and looked. It's just like being in a hotel. You can't tell.
Okay, but the hotel isn't necessarily going to fall underwater.
Well, okay, let's think about it. How many cruise ships have you heard fallen underwater?
I don't know because I try not to look at those stats.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that much. So I think the odds are, it's like plane crashes. I mean, I don't like plane crashes, but when you think about it reasonably, you think how many planes leave and fly every day?
Thousands.
All the time?
Hundreds of thousands.
And then you get a plane crash, once every 5 years or so. It's just like, it's pretty, the odd. I mean, you don't want to be on that one.
Right.
For sure.
It is actually safer than driving per capita.
That's what they say, yeah.
So, all right. Number 3, the disappearance of Audrey Macaulay.
Oh, I didn't do anything. I had nothing to do with that.
I got his name wrong. It's Andrew Macaulay.
Oh.
Whose distress calls
in that case.
That was you, yeah.
Okay.
His distress calls
attorney.
were later found on a recovered memory stick.
Oh.
So he was an Australian kayaker who attempted to cross the Tasman Sea in 2007.
Sea in a kayak?
Yeah, he slept in the kayak
No.
using a sea anchor and a capsule that enclosed him in the kayak's hatch. When his kayak was recovered, the capsule was missing. In the aftermath, footage was found on a memory stick in his camera and shows him making distress calls saying he was sinking and needed a rescue.
I think we all know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So who would do that?
Crazy people.
If it's just you alone and you're going to cross a sea and you know that you're actually going to have to sleep along the way,
Yeah.
it's too far.
Yeah.
It's just too far at that point. Too far.
This is a little tiny bit of a tangent, but not much. There's a great, so I listen to Case File podcast, which is about crimes and different things. So recently there was one about this kid. I call him a kid. He's like in his 20s, I think. And he decided that he wanted to be a missionary to the North Sentinel Islands, which are one of the most dangerous islands. They're so secluded. They're they don't want anyone there.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I back when I was young, they called them natives or whatever. I mean, just that I don't know what they call them now, indigenous people, but they were just like, leave us alone.
Yeah.
And they're one of the few cultures that are unaffected or untouched by contemporary culture. So they want to be on
Left
their own.
alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so this kid decides he needs to go tell them about Jesus. And it became his mission to go be a missionary there. And he knew how dangerous. He took classes. He studied and all this stuff. And he went there, and he was all prepared. And they did not welcome him.
Not in the way he expected.
No, and he stayed on his ship a lot, and he kept trying to come out, and he would like bring them gifts and all this kind of stuff, and they would sort of like, they were curious, but basically were like, get away.
Yeah.
And apparently, people just lost touch with him, and somebody went out to look for them and saw some of the people dragging his body around, and so that it was a very interesting episode of the podcast. And so I looked it up, and it is everywhere. I've seen that story. It must have just recently happened.
It sounds familiar even to me. Yeah.
But you can find that story. And I can't. Oh, wait a minute. Chow. I want to say his last name was Chow. It was like David Chow or something like that. But anyway, look it up. The North Sentinel Islands. This kid, good-looking, young, vibrant-looking kid. You know, and just like, I don't know why he felt compelled.
I don't know either.
Leave them alone.
They want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Leave them the hell alone.
They don't want your Jesus.
No, they don't.
No.
Not everybody does.
No.
Sorry.
And I think that was a good proof. So, yeah, and I don't think I'll be going to the Sentinel Islands anytime soon.
I will not be joining you if you do.
No.
Okay. So another one is the murder of Hella Crafts,
I don't know her.
whose chopped up remains were found in a lake.
Uh-oh.
Hella Crafts
How do you find chopped up remains in a lake?
Right? Listen.
They got to be like big chunks, though.
After Hella Craft's disappearance, a snowplow driver reported seeing her husband using a wood chipper near the lake on the night.
There we go.
Hella was last seen in and near the lake. Police found pieces of metal and human tissue, including a tooth, a fingernail, bone chips, human hair, fingernails, I already said fingernails, and blood that all matched Hella.
Or Steve Buscemi.
One of them. Police concluded her remains had gone through a wood chipper.
She had a cool name, though.
Hella.
Yeah. What was the last name?
Crafts.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hella Crafts. There could be like a company named Hella Crafts.
They should be a company. They make wood chippers.
This one is a little bit scarier.
Uh-oh.
The Salish, I think I'm saying that right, see human foot discoveries.
Huh?
Discoveries, plural.
What does that mean?
Since August of 2007, there have been at least 20 detached human feet
Oh, I've heard about this.
discovered off the coasts of British Columbia
Yeah.
and in Canada and Washington State in the U.S.
Yeah.
There are a ton of theories as to just why just feet have been discovered, ranging from boating accidents, plane crashes, suicide, foul play, and even the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami.
Yeah, that's a very fascinating thing.
It sounds more like somebody's getting their feet chopped off.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it sounds like to me, because I go immediately to crime.
Yeah. I would say it probably has something to do with 20,000 feet under the sea.
I doubt that.
And they've all escaped.
The reason
All the
is
feet
all the
escaped.
feet.
20,000 of them.
But, you know, that's the wrong title. It's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Well, it's not as funny.
No, it's not. You're right. Maybe you should write a book, 20,000 Feet Under the
I can't
Sea.
because you ruined my joke.
Sorry. Number 6, the Lake Bodom, I think is how you pronounce it, murders.
Okay.
One of the most infamous unsolved homicide
So
cases.
basically, these are just crimes that happen on water.
It's yes and no. In most of them are. In June 1960, 4 teens decided to camp on the shore of Lake Bodom. This is 1960.
That was
so
the
it's
worst. I was going to do crickets, but that was horrible. I just went. It sounds like somebody screwing on a really bad
on an old bed. Yeah, on a spring
That's
mattress.
not a cricket at all.
No, get your cricket straight. That's not crickets either. That's them kissing afterwards.
I can't do a cricket. The hell.
Yeah. Anyways, 3 of the teens were stabbed and bludgeoned to death. Those are cicadas.
Oh, yeah. It's closer than a kiss.
The only survivor, Nils Gustafsson,
Uh-oh, Nels, he's in trouble.
sustained a concussion and some facial fractures.
Oh, no.
He claimed to have only gotten a glimpse of the attacker. Gustafsson was later tried for the murders but acquitted.
That's awful.
You think it's awful?
Yeah. I see that on the ID channel all the time. It's like somebody goes through this problem, like they go through this traumatic murder of somebody in their family, and then they end up being tried for it. And sometimes they're convicted. And I saw this last night. This guy went to prison for 16 years
Yeah.
for murdering his wife.
Yeah.
No, he didn't murder her. She almost got murdered. She was bludgeoned. I mean, like brain matter
Attempted
came
murder.
out. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And they charged him. He went to prison for 16 years. 16 years later, they find the DNA. It's another dude.
Yep.
They catch the guy. They interview him. He admits to it. Goes to prison. They have to release the other guy. 16 years he was in jail for something he didn't do.
And what does he get in retribution for that?
Nothing. Well, he got $600 and something thousand. Not even $1 million. That's
not,
nothing.
That's
nothing.
nothing. That's nothing.
For 16 years.
Nope.
And his entire marriage, everything is over.
It's gone.
And he had to go through that whole
And all the trauma he had to deal with in prison.
all of that trauma, and then you're accused of doing it. I see that so much. It
Yeah.
just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And I think about, like, can you imagine if that happened to you? It's just like you're mourning the death of somebody close to you, and then all of a sudden they're like, you did it, and then they put you. How do you cope with that when you're
I have
in prison?
no idea.
Because you know you didn't do it,
Right.
and but you have to. It just, I can't imagine. Oh.
And and then you're told that everybody in here is innocent.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
So the other one is the Lady in the Lake trial about a woman
yeah.
whose body was discovered by amateur divers at the bottom of a lake. Carol Park's body was discovered at the bottom of Coniston Water in northwest England. She had been wrapped in a pinafore dress, plastic bags, and weighed down with lead piping.
Oh no!
In a post-mortem, it was discovered that her face had been smashed and that the murder weapon was an ice axe. Her husband, Gordon
she was
Park,
killed by Thor.
it must have been.
I don't know.
Thor, yeah. Her husband, Gordon Park, was eventually found guilty, but there was a ton of controversy surrounding the case.
Same thing. Gordon.
Same thing.
I don't think Gordon did it.
This one will have you never drinking scotch again.
Uh-oh, that's got to be hard.
The existence of bog bodies.
I mean, if it makes scotch taste good, let's toss a body in every once in a while.
Human cadavers that have been naturally mummified in peat bog. You want to see a picture?
Sure. That's not real.
Okay.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real.
I don't think it's real.
It's real.
If I die, I want that. That looks like a lead statue.
You want to be put in a bog?
Hell yeah, I want to be mummified in scotch. Is that what that is?
Peat bog.
Yeah.
All right. The preservation of bodies in bogs is a natural phenomenon, not a result of humans purposefully
We
doing
should call them boggies. I don't know. Anybody that's been in a bog should be a boggy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's cute. Hi, Boggy. The bog's acids with pH levels similar to vinegar conserve human bodies in the same way as fruit is preserved by pickling it.
Yeah, pickled bodies. Mm-hmm.
There's one that we don't really need to read. So these aren't really
Let me ask you,
scary.
if I died and my body was pickled, would you eat me? I mean, you love pickles.
I do love pickles.
Might be good.
I don't know. I'm not a big pickled meat
My wife
person.
hates pickles. Something's gonna have to happen.
Something's gonna happen.
Somebody's gotta eat me.
But like pickled fish and stuff like that. I'm not big on that.
I like the pickled meats.
Yeah, and I'm not big on pickled meat.
I love pickled eggs though. Oh man, they're
Pickled
good.
eggs are all right.
No.
Maybe pickled
They're
testicles
excellent.
would be good.
I've never had that. I've never had an unpickled testicle.
Okay.
I almost reached once. Sorry.
Have you ever had Rocky Mountain oysters?
No, that's what I'm saying. I've never had.
Never had a
Nope.
testicle of any kind?
No, not in my mouth.
I have. Sorry. It wasn't pickled, though.
It was tickled.
It was tickled. All right. We've gone off the rails here. These things are just
Way off.
not even scary.
All right, we should quit. We should stop right now.
Stop. right now.
This thing. I do want to remind everybody, June 6th, we're going to have the Evil Zoom.
Yes.
The Evil Zoom will be happening. I posted a thing about Evil Zoom and not one person responded. I'm afraid no one's going to show up for Evil Zoom. I do hope they do, though.
Evil Zoom.
So Evil Zoom will be a Zoom where we are going to discuss all types of evil. It's not going to be scary. We're just going to talk about evil stuff. And while we're doing that, I am going to drink a 6-pack of beer because I'm so curious to see what a 6-pack does to my body now that I'm evil 60.
Did you just say it was your body?
Yeah. It's going to be my body while I'm drinking it. I don't drink my body really, but anyway.
Okay, good. I don't eat.
But yeah, so I'm going to do that, and everybody will get to see it live.
Yes.
And that will be happening on June 6th, because June, the 6th month, 6th
day of the 6th month,
2022 adds up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 666.
And you're going to drink a 6-pack.
I'm going to drink a 6-pack, and I'm 60. So a lot of sixes happening. Please bring your 6-year-olds.
No, don't bring the 6-year-olds
to the table.
No,
it'll be fun.
Bring your fellow 60-year-olds.
I would like it'll be live and just typical This Epic Disaster stuff. So please come out, hang out with us. We will be releasing the Zoom code for people who want to show up very soon.
It's going to be June 6th, so you got some time to plan.
Yeah, plan.
Yeah.
Plan your day. What else are you going to do on June 6th?
Nothing.
Wasn't it like a Monday or something?
I don't know.
So there you go. That's pretty much all we have planned.
That's it.
We got nothing else planned.
Send us an email at thisepicdisaster@gmail.com or find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, blah, 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 etc., etc.
All of those, especially Facebook.
Yeah, mostly Facebook. Also, we have
there.
a group on Facebook called the Disasterbaters, and basically all you have to do is ask to join.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about that right now, but let's talk about our best of. You said you have a best of?
I do. I have a best of, and a lot of people are already familiar with this restaurant, but I had to go into the office this week to do some training with a noob. Mm-hmm. And the noob and I went out to lunch together.
Yeah.
Because we always like to buy them at least one lunch when they're in training, just to prove to them that we're not horrible people. We went to Willie's. I haven't been to Willie's in a while.
Yeah, I hadn't been in a little while, too.
Normally, I would go to like a Moe's.
Yeah.
And we could have. It was about the same amount of distance away, but we decided to go to Willie's.
I like Moe's.
It just so happened it was Cinco de Mayo.
Uh-oh.
So we went to Willie's, and it was packed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But, man, they made our burritos the size of babies.
Oh, yeah.
So I had lunch. I had dinner.
That's always good.
I had breakfast. Mm-hmm. And the best part, I didn't have to
buy. Did it taste like pickled human?
I don't know what pickled human tastes like.
Okay.
But
maybe you do and you don't know it.
That's true. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a whole lot of pickled flavoring in it.
Okay.
There were some peppers and onions, but they weren't pickled.
Okay.
They were sautéed. Mm. And yes, I got a veggie burrito, and we got some of their cheese dip. I hadn't had Willie's cheese dip in a while.
Okay.
It's not as spicy as I like.
Pretty much everybody's cheese dip is good. I mean, you can't,
it's
you
cheese.
You might want spice or something, but it's like
it's cheese.
Cheese and dip.
Yeah, with chips.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So Willie's is my favorite. If you haven't been to a Willie's in a while, you should wow your Willie.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
But I also found that they are deliverable in some places through like Grubhub and stuff like that.
That sounds cool.
Yep.
I don't have a best of this week, but I want to unbest of.
Oh.
I'm going to rescind one of my
Are
best
you really?
of. Yes, I am.
Go for it.
A couple of weeks ago, I think, I talked about my best of was T Public. So I think I mentioned that I was designing some T-shirts for This Epic Disaster and putting them online. And I was also doing them for some projects of my own and putting them up on T Public. And I was talking about how wonderful experience it was. And it is. It's the best experience for print on demand that I've ever seen. Like, when you put up a T-shirt design and people can order them and they just print them like one at a time instead of a whole bunch
as they're ordered.
Yeah. And I've used Redbubble, Cafe Press. I've used so many of them, and the experience of this, I never saw an actual product, but the experience of putting it up it's superior to anything anybody has done. So here's what I thought. I thought, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a special store just for this epic disaster.
Okay.
So I could put up all of our logos, and I did. I put up. We had like 3 or 4 shirts up, different designs, and I was going to design a whole bunch of new ones and put them up, and then we could do stickers and all of the stuff.
Yeah.
I got an email.
What'd the email say?
They took it down for copyright violation.
We have it. That's us, though.
We own it. I own it.
Yeah.
I designed it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. They just like, oh, you violated copyright. They wouldn't put it back up.
Did you explain to them? Did you get a chance to talk to somebody?
You can't. Well, you email. You have to email, of course.
Yeah.
They don't care. They didn't do it. They're not going to put it up. They didn't even. No, not doing it.
Because it's a copyrighted
They
thing.
said they wanted proof. They wanted me to. This is dumb. They wanted me to send them Photoshop documents to show that those are ours. I was like, well, that's stupid. I can make Photoshop documents of the Coca-Cola logo. That doesn't mean I own it.
Yeah.
What? That's just dumb.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
So we don't have a store on TeePublic.
Okay.
I took all of my stores off of TeePublic.
Good.
And I'm saying here on the podcast, don't use TeePublic.
Good.
It's a ripoff.
It is. Sounds like it.
I'm not going to do business with them.
I wouldn't do
They
business
accused me of
Stealing
my own stuff, my own design.
That's ridiculous.
Well, first of all, it's a podcast that maybe 3 people listen to.
Possibly 4.
Who am I ripping off?
Right. Yeah.
This is not like this American Life podcast.
No.
It's not The Moth.
No.
It's no big deal.
Jeez Louise. I'm sorry you experienced that. That's awful.
It's ridiculous.
It
So anyway,
sounds ridiculous.
I'm rescinding my best of.
Okay.
They're a piece of shit. I'm going to say don't ever use them.
Don't use TeePublic.
Because they will accuse you of stealing like they did me.
And I hope they don't sue us for slander.
No, I hope they do try to.
Okay, try it.
Because that's not slander. I told exactly what happened.
Yep, you're right. You did.
They accused me of stealing.
So bring it.
Yeah, come on,
Bring
TeePublic.
it, TeePublic.
Kiss my public ass.
There you go. In public.
Yeah, kiss my tea.
In public.
My taint.
Oh, God. No, don't kiss his taint.
Public taint. Kiss it! Anyway, yeah, so
all right.
Don't use them.
Okay.
Ever.
Let's talk about this beer and let's get out of here.
Let's do it. I like it. I'm a fan of it.
I like it, too.
It's a good sour because it's not overly sour. And that's fun. That's a fun beer.
That lactose really makes a difference, too,
Yeah.
because it does add to that kind of lime pie kind of flavor.
You almost said limey, didn't you?
I did.
That's like a slam against English people.
I know. That's why I didn't say it.
You almost did.
But it adds to
I would have been offended. I'm not English, but my ancestors are.
Shut up. It's a good beer. I liked it. I'm giving it a 4.
I'm giving it a 3.5.
All right. I like my sours more than you do.
This was not a bad one, though. I got kind of tired of the sours. The other day I was in a beer store and buying beer, and I was just like, we need to do some more sours. And this is a great one to start with because it's not too sour.
Awesome sauce.
Key lime. Do you think it tastes like key lime?
It definitely tastes like lime. Do you get
Yeah.
Do you get any key in there?
No, I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
It's definitely lime.
Totally. To add another sip, try it out. Right on it.
Done.
Lime. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to raise it to a 4
Whoop.
because of that.
All right.
I tasted it and got the lime, so the flavor's good. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you for listening to us today. And we did blather on a little bit, but, you're used to it.
Oh, we never do that.
No, never.
Yeah, let me just say, people, whatever you do, there's so much to do in life. There's so much fun to be had. There's so much things to be experienced and to have fun with. And I would say go do it all. Have fun. But please do not go share Jesus with the North Sentinel people.
No.
Leave them alone.
They will eat you.
That's all I got to say.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.